Thank you for watching Conscious Consumer Network. The live stream broadcast is free to view. You can pause and rewind live broadcasts to catch up, or view shows at a later date by accessing our free archives of all shows. Check out our broadcast guide to see what's on. You can show your support by donating to our network support fund. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, or subscribe to the monthly newsletter for updates. We thank you for supporting free and independent media.
Hello there. My name is Sue Everatt, for those of you that didn't see me in the previous broadcast that I did. And today I'm going to be talking about the best places that you can go for information about the Venus Project and the resource-based economy. And I think this is important because over the years, many different groups have grown up like mushrooms that all claim to be telling people what the Venus Project is or what a resource-based economy is. But in actual fact, they are not collaborating with the Venus Project, and many of them aren't sharing the correct information. They've understood part of what it's all about. They've taken the bits that resonate with them, and they've added their own versions. And so if the first contact that somebody has with the resource-based economy, the first time they see the word, the name, a little bit of information, a video, for example, if it's not directly from the Venus Project, it can get them confused, it can give them the wrong information, and it can, put them off even. So I've prepared a small PowerPoint. It's not a spectacular PowerPoint. It's a series of links that I want to take you through to show you where you can go to get good information. And when the video is up online, the recording is up online in the archives, you can copy the links down to put them into your URLs and then see better what I've been talking about. So let's go. I'm going to share the screen, and where is my PowerPoint? There we are. Okay. Share the screen. We're going to go into the present mode. Okay. Here we start. So obviously the best place to get the information from is the TVP webpage. TVP, by the way, for those that don't know, is the abbreviation for the Venus Project, the webpage. And it's been very carefully prepared for being able to get a lot of the most basic information to start off with. Okay. We're landing on the home page here. I hope this is working. Biggie, can you give me a sign to say that the screen is showing the website, please? Can you just send me a quick message through Skype to let me know that the screen share is going well? Oh, thank you. Lovely. Okay. So we've got an image there, a spectacular image of one of the city designs that Jack has made. And as we scroll down, we've got a brief explanation of what the Venus Project proposes. And we come to a couple of highlights. One of them is the link to the latest documentary, The Choice is Ours, which if you haven't seen it, I thoroughly recommend it. And the other one is the award that Jack was given by the United Nations this July for city design. Now, obviously, this is something very important. It's a great recognition for all his work. And so that's there as well. And when you click that picture there, you get to the video and information about what happened. Then we go down, we can see Explore the Venus Project. There's 4 pictures there with different pages that you can go to. And what is the Venus Project is the first one. This explains a little bit about the Venus Project, and it has a rather cute video to watch, which takes about 1.5 minutes. So Biggie, if you would like to show that video, please.
What is the Venus Project? The Venus Project offers a new socio-economic system that isn't capitalism, communism, socialism, nor fascism. It's nothing like anything that has ever been tried before. It's not a dictatorship, nor is it democratic. Yet it will achieve what all democracies have always tried to and never did: freedom from violence, abuse, coercion, and restrictions that are unnecessary and only serve a small minority at the expense of the rest. It is a system that works for all of us and the environment we depend on. It seems that society today is unable to provide many people with a high standard of living, although it has been technically possible to do so for quite a while. There are many technical solutions that have been around for many years for housing, transportation, creating clean renewable energy, growing nutritious food, and providing clean water, but very little has been done to put them into practice due to the insufficiencies of the social structure we live in today. The Venus Project offers a system that would invite those technologies in, shorten the workday, and raise the standard of living higher than what most people realize possible. We invite you to learn about the Venus Project at thevenusproject.com.
So there you saw that cute little video. I love these kinetic ones with the things shaping, moving around and everything. We've got then the aims and proposals. There's a couple of places you can get to this from. An essay, an article called The Global Holistic Solution, Resource-Based Economy. And then this last one, this fourth image here, is the history of the Venus Project. And it has magazine articles and newspaper articles going back to 1944. There's dozens of them. So it's very interesting to read them and see how Jack and Roxanne have been spoken about and the ideas have been spoken about over the years and see the progress. It's very interesting. A little bit further down, we get to visit the Venus Project in Florida. For those of you that don't know, in the Research Center in Venus, they do tours on Saturdays where Jack and Roxanne talk for about an hour, 2 hours, depending, answer questions and so on. And then finally, Roxanne takes you around the grounds and to some of the buildings and shows you the buildings, explains how they were built, what they would have liked to have done if they'd been able to, what they weren't able to. My dog is once again taking part in the show. And it's the most amazing place to see because it was just a tomato patch when they got that land, and everything that is there now, all the palm trees, all the plants and everything, they've done it themselves, they built the domes themselves, and it really is the most amazing place to go and see and to meet Jack and Roxanne in person. So if you can go, do go, all right? And then further down from that, we get to how can you help? We've got two main parts on the website here. One, you can donate to the Venus Project. There are two areas that you can donate to. One is directly for the Research Center to help keep it open, to help support it, because they don't have any grants from the government. They don't have any sponsors or anything like that. So donations are welcome and extremely helpful. And then learn more about volunteering. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit more further on. I'm not going to go into it too deeply because one of the other colleagues from the Venus Project will be talking about TVP activism in more detail next week, I think it is. But I will be touching on it briefly. And then we've got blog posts. There is a blog on the website now, which when you have a certain amount of information and knowledge about the Venus Project, you can collaborate and have your blog, have your article or whatever you want to present, posted on the website. It goes through quality control and so on, but this is something that's very interesting as well. So people can now participate in the information that's on the website. And then at the very bottom, we get to, do you want to get news about the Venus Project? And this is for you to subscribe to the newsletter. This comes, I think it's every month, and it tells you all the things that are going on, the latest information. For example, the newest and most exciting update is the fact that this month, November, and I think it's today actually, or tomorrow, the Baker Museum in Florida is opening an exhibition which will last for 6 months on Jack's models and his work. So there's going to be, they've redone and painted and mended and tickled up lots and lots and lots of dozens of models, and they've packed them up and they've sent them off to this museum where they're going to have an exhibition, as I say, for 6 months. And apparently it's in the very wealthy, one of the wealthy areas of Florida. So we might get some interesting people going along. And who knows, maybe there might be offers for other exhibitions in other museums. So it's a very interesting update, very exciting update there. Okay, going back up to the top of the website, you can see the lines along here. We've got these, I never remember, they're called breadcrumbs maybe. The aims and proposals. There's a page on the Research Center itself. There's a biography for Jack and all the work that he's been doing. Well, he can't put all the work that he's done because it would take a whole website to do that. But the most important and most interesting things that Jack has done and invented and so on, the experiences he's had. There's also a very nice biography for Roxanne, and then the history, which, as I said before, is the collection of newspaper articles and magazine articles. That's on the About section. Then there's a whole section on the resource-based economy and subsections, the environment. We talk a lot about the environment and how it shapes human behavior. And the three subsections in here are circular cities, total enclosure systems and what they are, and cities in the sea. Then we go to technology, where you can read about energy, the proposals that the Venus Project has for the kinds of energy that can be used, construction, transportation, and even space. And then the last one is human factors, and this is extremely important. There's 4 subsections in here. The scientific method, which is very relevant to the way that the Venus Project proposes that we organize society. We need to understand what it is and why it's important. So we've got a bit about it there. Semantics and why language is so complicated for us to understand each other. You know, we can talk at each other, but we never really hear each other. Semantics is part of the fault there. Then we go to values. The values that we have today, we need to understand why we have them and how we can change them to have more functional values for society, you know, better, more sane things. And at the bottom then, functional design, and within that there is functional ethics. 2 new topics that weren't on the website before, but that are very interesting, very make you want more information. We're going back up to the top of the website here. We've got Learn More, obviously extremely important, this section. And I'm going to start at the bottom where it talks about the recommended books. When you click here, it takes you to all the dozens and dozens of books that Jack and Roxanne recommend as reading to help you see the need for and understand the reasons behind the Venus Project, whether it's about architecture, whether it's about human behavior, whether it's about whatever it's about. There's dozens of books in there that are interesting to get a hold of. The blog, which I mentioned before, a link to the documentaries, the 3 main documentaries from the Venus Project, Future by Design, which was shown a couple of weeks ago through CCN, Paradise or Oblivion, and The Choice is Ours, which you've also shown here on CCN. Then there's an essay, a very nice essay article by Jack called The Future and Beyond. And then the facts, the frequently asked questions. Now I'm going to open this link up because the frequently asked questions are something that a lot of people don't look at for some reason. And if they did, they would have so many of their questions answered, so many of their doubts cleared up. And instead of having to come to Facebook and ask the same questions over and over again, if they took the time to look through here and read the answers, they'd probably have their questions solved, you know. There's 107 in all, and you've got a search box here, okay, so you can type in, for example, automation and hit enter, and the replies that come up it doesn't necessarily say automation in the question itself, but in the reply it will talk about automation. So that helps you if you're just looking for a particular topic. You can go there and search for a word and you can find answers on just about everything. It's a very, very useful tool for everybody, for those that are new, that have questions, for the activists when somebody asks them a question and they're not sure how to answer. So check it out. It'll help you a lot. Then we move over to the store. I'm going to click the store here. The store is important for the Venus Project because they actually pay for the publishing of the book themselves. So you can buy the book, whether it's in a physical copy and have it mailed to you, or they now have an ebook for Kindle. And as I said before, they pay for the publishing themselves. And the DVDs and the CD collections that they have there, they actually do those themselves as well. So these are very time consuming to make, the machines cost money, obviously, and as we're in the society with planned obsolescence and things are breaking down, they have to be replaced because the volume of turning them over, eventually they break down. And you've got different lectures and talks. You've got the ones from 2010, 2011, where Jack is at Venus, sitting in the garden maybe, or in one of the domes, talking about different subjects, and they're all about an hour long. And then there are the ones, the classic lectures, which are from the 70s and the 80s, and they were recorded on the old cassettes. So they've been cleaned up and they've been put into DVD form, but obviously they're just audio. They're not, there's no pictures of, there's no video, as it were. All right. And then there is merchandise as well, T-shirts and stickers, which are the things that most people are interested in. And then you can also get mugs, I think, and something like that. Oh, and now they have also started streaming some of the lectures online, so you don't have to buy the set. You can pay a lot less and get the streaming online, all right? And you can watch it as many times as you want to. So that's a walk through the website there, very briefly. I hope that it will encourage you to check it out and to take advantage of this, because it has been set up for us to be able to learn more about the Venus Project. So let's go on to the next slide. This is another place that you can come to get original information, and it's the YouTube channel. It's the Venus Project Media. If you look in the URL there, you can see that it's the Venus Project Media. And they've got dozens and dozens of videos up here of different lengths. The most recent one, for example, is the presentation for the United Nations Award, which is just a short video. And then we've got all the talks that people gave at the Centennial event in March, which we were lucky enough and honoured enough to have Henry Schlinger come along. He gave a very interesting talk. And Abby Martin, I don't think she needs any presentation. You've got all the documentaries there. And then there's lots and lots of short videos, 10, 15 minutes, where Jack and Roxanne are talking about loads of different things. Just to pick out a few here: language in transition, conscription of the war industries, the mechanistic approach, evolution, purpose, depression, predictability, reinforcements. So many things that you just don't normally think about. But when you listen to Jack talking, it sparks things off in your head and you start putting pieces together in your mind. And sometimes you can have like an epiphany, if you know what an epiphany is, like an aha moment. And you can watch them over and over again, obviously. So this is the official YouTube channel for the Venus Project. And through the translation team, the Linguistic Team International, all the videos that have been translated into whatever language, the translations are also uploaded here. So you can find subtitles in many, many languages. When you open up the video, you just go to the little wheel there for the subtitles, and you'll find many, many different languages. All right, so that's the two main best places to go are the website and the YouTube channel. And now we're going to pass on to the next part. Facebook. Oh, Facebook, a double-edged sword, as we say. All right, we've got the official Facebook page and the support group, the official support group. Now, why am I bringing up Facebook? Bring up Facebook because we've got so many people out there who enthusiastically start up a Facebook page for, backwater in the pond, and that's an imaginary name, obviously, and they start it up with all this enthusiasm, and then they stop for whatever reason. Life takes them away, and the Facebook gets abandoned. So we've got all these random Facebooks out there that nobody's taking care of and that we don't know about because they don't come and say, is it okay? Would you like me to start a Facebook for backwater in the pond? And also sometimes they get taken over by people who then post deliberate misinformation or just totally irrelevant stuff. So the official Facebook global page is opening up now, taking its time, and we are now unifying all the Facebook pages and groups so that they have the same image at the top, the same banner heading, and a disclaimer as well. Now you can see at the moment the one we have is this image of Jack with a brief quote of his. Keep still. A brief quote and the disclaimer. Okay, this is something that has been, it's about 2 months now that we've been doing this, and the disclaimer is being translated into different languages for the different teams. Now you can come to the Venus Project official page and share any of these posts knowing that they have been approved by the Venus Project, that you're not going to put your foot in it and post something that's not relevant. Okay, so anything that you like, whether it's an article, whether it's a viral image, a meme or something, you can take them from here with all confidence that they've been quality approved as well. Okay. Now then, we're going to go to the support group. Now, as you know, if you know a little bit about Facebook, you know there's a difference between pages and groups. Pages, you can't start your own thread. The people who are managing it will decide what gets posted. But in a group, you can post. However, due to sometimes people getting in that have then started posting adverts for sunglasses or handbags or even loaning money, we came to the, or totally off topic topics, we came to the decision that it would be better to have all the Facebooks configured so that all posts must be approved by a moderator before they get, well, threads, must be approved by a moderator so that we keep the page relevant to the topic of the Venus Project and a resource-based economy. And, excuse me, I'm getting dry already. I'm talking at 90 miles an hour. I have to explain that this Venus Project group is closed, and that's an accident. When this was started up, I think it was about 6 or 7 years ago. I don't know now how long ago it was started up. Somebody was practicing or something. We're not sure exactly what happened, but somebody closed it. And by the time we'd realized that it was closed and wanted to open it again, the group had too many members. Now, Facebook has a limit to how many members you can have before you open your Facebook group. And we've gone way over. We actually have at the moment just over 27,000 people on that Facebook group, that support group. So it was way too many to be able to. So it's nothing to do with wanting to be secret or anything like that. It was just an accident. And Facebook, you know, I mean, ask Zuckerberg why he's done that. We don't know. Now, obviously, here, as it's a bit more flexible, we don't just get pure TVP information. We can also find things, somebody will come along with an interesting question that they might have that we can have an interesting discussion with. Somebody might come along with some new technology that they've discovered and they want to know if it could be relevant for the resource-based economy. And we can have some very nice discussions on here. You will, if you're not already on this Facebook group and you join us, you will find out that not everybody has very much idea about what they're talking about. But don't worry, eventually you'll figure out the ones that do. Okay, so whereas the page, you will get solid information from the Venus Project, directly from the Venus Project. Here on the group, it's going to be a little bit more, you have to sort of just be careful. Right, let's pass on to the next slide. Other social media accounts, we've got the Twitter account. I don't tweet, I've no idea how to tweet. Except to go tweet. But if you do tweet, this is where you can go to. This is your official Twitter account for the Venus Project. Okay, that's what it looks like at the moment. I suppose eventually it will be, the image will be changed to whatever, but for the moment that's what it is. Then we have a Google Plus, an official Google Plus. Again, I don't Google Plus either. I really don't have time for all these. I've chosen which social media I want, and everybody does whatever they want, you know. You've got the Venus Project Global Google Plus, all right, and then the Instagram account. Now, this is very interesting because there's over 3,000 different images and things on here, so you can take any of these images, whether it's a quote from Jack, whether it's like this particular one here with a couple holding the I Support the Venus Project signs, or whether it's a quote maybe from Carl Sagan that's relevant to the way the Venus Project thinks, or whatever it is. you can take all of these and share them on your own social media in total confidence that they're going to be quality controlled before they're put up there. Okay. There's a lot of people who are really enthusiastically making images for the Venus Project and putting them out there, but they come up and they've got a typo in it, you know, a spelling mistake, or the quality of the image isn't very good or something like that. And the Venus Project is really wanting to give a professional image. So that is why they're being very strict now with this quality control. And there's my little dog letting us know she's there again. Shh. All right, let's go on to the next slide. The Linguistic Team International. This team is very close to my heart. It's the first team that I really took part in, to be honest, about 7 or 8 years ago now. And if you would like to help with the translations, you'll be very welcome. Let me take you through to the forum, which is the best place for you to start if you would like to help with the translations. And I can't stress enough how important it is for us to have good quality translations for all the material, because if we only ever have them in English, we're never going to be an international organization. Okay, so this forum here is the hub, as it were, of the linguistic team. You can make a free account and then come to this. I'm just going to select that where it says introduce yourself. Excuse me, I'm talking. Introduce yourself, click there, and it will take you to a page where you can start a thread and say, hello, my name is whatever, and I would like to help translate into French, German, whatever language, okay? And in a short while, in a couple of days, 3 days at the most, somebody will answer you and help you get started. Then we're going to scroll down. There's a lot to look at, so take your time. But when we scroll down, we're going to get to Open for Translations. Can you see here, Open for Translations? And we have two main tools that we use for translations. We have one called Poodle for the text material, such as website, flyers, press kit, and so on. And then for the subtitles for the videos, there is a tool called .sub. Excuse me, I need water. So this is where you find the work that needs to be done. And then under here, you've got the list of all the language teams, from Arabic at the top, all the way down to Vietnamese at the bottom. And we've got Portuguese, French, German, Romanian, Russian, Serbian, you name it, Spanish, you name it. So this is where you come to sign up for the linguistic team. Excuse me. It's very important to note that we do need English speakers. Why is that? We need native English speakers especially, and especially native English speakers with a very high level of grammar and syntax, because, it's a good job I got a big glass of water there. Because, A, if we have a video with no subtitles in any language, if there is somebody who can't hear, if we have a deaf person, they're going to miss it all. So the subtitles in English serve for the deaf that speak English. But apart from that, they also help the translators with their work as translating, because if you're listening to a video and it's not in your native language and it's not very clear audio for whatever reason, then you can make a mistake, you can mishear something, and then you translate that wrongly, and so the information is not correct. And we don't need mistakes. We really do have to be as careful as possible so that we get the best quality translations we can get out there. So if you're interested, even if you only speak English, you can help the linguistic team, and we're always welcoming people in. Now here, just under here, I've made a tiny URL link because the link to a PowerPoint is so long. This is a presentation to the linguistic team to show how we work, the tools, the method, and so on. And it's taking its time about opening up, but there's various slides there that show how we work. There they go. They go down the side there. Okay. All right, so that's the linguistic team. Let's move on. Excuse me. 2 emails now that can be interesting for you, but please only contact them for the reasons that they are created. Social media, if, for example, you would like to help the social media team, you can write to this address. And if you would like to help the web, then you can write to the webmaster at thevenusproject.com. And if you find, for example, you might find a spelling mistake on the website. If you do, or something, a link is broken or whatever, or maybe something doesn't load, you can write to that email and let the webmaster know so that he can attend to it. If nobody tells him, he might not know about it. And if there's something comes up, maybe a strange message comes up, if you can take a screenshot and send that to, that's extremely helpful as well. Okay, here we go. Next one. Human resources. The human resources team, like all the teams, has had its ups and downs, because when you're working, excuse me, I think I'm coming down with a cold. Would anybody like a cold? The human resources team, like all the volunteer teams, has had its ups and downs. People can come, people can go. Maybe they can be around for 6 months and then life takes them away for a period of time. But they're now restructuring. And if you would like to help, but you don't know where, there's not a team that you feel you can be a part of, or you have an idea but you're not sure what to do, you can write to them. They will send you a form to fill in with some basic information about yourself, and then eventually you'll be invited to an interview online. Okay, not in person, obviously, online. And but please be patient with any of the emails that you write to. We get a tremendous amount of emails, and there's very few of us that can actually answer them. So, you know, it might take us a few days to get there, but you will get eventually a reply. So then we've got the active points of contact. Before, if you want to be an activist, if you want to get involved, if you want to do something in your area, before sending to any other email, check out this link here, active points of contact. The points of contact are the people who coordinate the teams on a local and a national level. Okay, so we've got many around the world already. And you can see here the email that you can contact from Arizona in the US down to the United Arab Emirates at the very bottom. In the second column, you've got the name or the names of the point of contact. All right, because some countries have got more than one. Brazil's got 5, for example, but most countries just have one, or most states just have one as well. And then you've got the official Facebook group here, all right, in the third column. And then the pages, those that have got pages, they're in the fourth column. So if you want to get in touch with somebody in your area, check out and see if there is somebody in your country or in your state already. And if you ever come across a Facebook group that isn't on this list, it's not official. Okay, so that's a very important list for you there. Right, next slide. We're almost at the end. Admin at thevenusproject.com. This is an email that a lot of people send information to and emails to, which overwhelms them. There's an awful lot of emails go through that really shouldn't go to that email address. This is really for the most important topics, for business kind of offers and so on. But should you wish to start a project of your own as a volunteer of the Venus Project, please send a detailed description of the project you have in mind, the amount of personal involvement you are planning to have, the time and effort you're planning to put in, and the kind of support you might need from us to admin at thevenusproject.com. This is because a lot of people have some really nice ideas, but there isn't a project or a team for them to join that's in their line already. So if you think you have a good idea and you think you could coordinate that team or set it up or whatever, or start the project, then make a detailed plan. You know, I mean, don't just write saying, hey, the Venus Project should start doing, you know, vegetable gardens, because that's not going to do anything. The Venus Project can do a lot of stuff, but it's not going to happen. We need people to do it. So if you think you've got the know-how to do it as well as having the idea, then you can send your idea here. And if it becomes accepted as an official project, we can then promote it. It can go up on the website. we can support it and so on. Whereas if you're just off randomly doing things on your own, it's wonderful, but we can't support you. We don't even know people, some of the things people are doing sometimes. Okay. All right. And this is the last email now. TVP activism. admin@tvpactivism.com. This is for issues related directly to activism, such as creating events in your city, joining a team near to you, or perhaps becoming a point of contact yourself. We get an awful lot of people writing to all the emails with all kinds of stories, wanting to go and live at Venus, wanting to get support for asylum because they're in a horrible country and they want to leave. Please help me get out of this country. Some asking for financial support. The Venus Project is working towards eliminating all these things, okay? But they're nowhere near at a stage where they can offer asylum to anybody or give financial help to anybody, and they don't have the installations for people to go and live at Venus. So, you know, like sometimes you have to come back down to earth and think a little bit before sending the emails. As for becoming a point of contact yourself, if there isn't a point of contact for your country or your state, and you have already quite a bit of knowledge about the Venus Project, you can contact us on admin@tvpactivism.com and we will explain to you how you can become a point of contact. All right, there is an orientation process, which is a course to go through, in which we give you tools to become a point of contact. All right, I'm not going to go into that too much now because, as I mentioned at the start, one of my colleagues is going to be talking about this next week. But so that's what that email is for. Okay. All right. So having said all of that, I'm going to stop sharing the screen now. And it's back to me on the face, I think. Am I back visible, Biggie? Okay. And I had, I've closed down my little ending talk that I wanted to share. Excuse me a moment while I open it up. We get, on Facebook especially, many posts that are repetitive. And there was one that showed up again for the nth time the other day that provoked me to write a reply. And I'd like to read it, not because it has anything to do with the best place to go to get information for the Venus Project or anything like that, but because it's something that we get a lot of criticism for, and I'd like to explain why it's mistaken, or at least my point of view of why it's mistaken to criticize for this. So I'm going to read this, and with this I'll be finishing. There are certain questions that arise with sporadic regularity, and one recent one is regarding what TVP is doing and what people think TVP should be doing. Many opinions and ideas are shared, some of which are really quite good, but that at this time, for a variety of reasons, depending on the idea, just aren't possible to put into practice. And others are simply not helpful to what TVP is promoting. First, allow me to clarify something. On the one hand, we have the Venus Project, TVP, which is Jack and Roxanne. And on the other hand, we have the global teams, such as social media and graphic design. And we also have TVP activism, or TVPA. These are the activists who have taken on the task of disseminating the information about the direction TVP proposes on a national and local level. Experience has shown us that the global team members and activists need to be well informed themselves so as to be able to inform people correctly. Those of you who have gone more deeply into the proposals, maybe you have the lecture set and you've read The Best That Money Can't Buy, Jack's book, will have realized that to be able to answer people's questions, one needs to have learned much more than a couple of documentaries can show. Now, I think it's understandable to anyone that an organized infrastructure is fundamental, and this is mainly what we're working on now, plus the creation of an educational course with various levels so that people who wish to collaborate can do so with a better preparation than it was possible to offer before. This means that some of the people Some of the ideas people have about what should be being done are simply not possible yet for logistical and or financial reasons. Some people insist that TVP should start up projects that show progress at a grassroots level. Now, this sounds great in theory, but if we look at what it would entail and teach, it becomes clear that it's neither feasible nor helpful to what is being aimed for. The high-tech, high-energy, global approach that the Venus Project aims for is not going to be demonstrated by building a hydroponic tower in a city, nor building eco-villages with mud domes, nor collecting funds to dig a well in an African village. And please don't get me wrong. This kind of project is fantastic and definitely helps in certain areas. But they're already being done by many, many fabulous organizations. However, they do not touch the social system, nor look to solve global problems from the root cause. They don't show people the need for a change in values and behaviors. In short, they are patchwork solutions which would eat up the scarce human and financial resources the Venus Project and the Venus Project activism have, with little to no possibilities to show the holistic solutions we know exist. I'm sure you will have all have heard the expression, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. The Venus Project is about teaching people to fish because someone has to look further than just giving immediate relief. It's a long-term project because the world is so fucked up and we'd love for it to move faster. So if more people actually joined the team, we'd speed things up hugely. But we must learn to walk before we run, and it's a marathon we are preparing for, not a morning jog. So with that, I come to the end of my presentation for today. I hope you found it helpful and interesting. And I'd like to thank Biggie and Mel for the chance again to be on CCN and be with all of you people. And next week we have the point of contact for Serbia, who is going to be talking about TVP activism, and his name is Bode. Okay, so good night from me. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
If we want to change the world, we must first change the media. Mainstream media exists for the purposes of indoctrination and manipulation of public perception. The world of free and independent media is growing, and with the upsurge in information now available in the public domain, it has never been easier to access free and independent media. The exploration of this information resulted in an experimental project which would provide a fully supported space for researchers, whistleblowers, and seekers of all kinds to express themselves and educate the world. On the 1st of January 2015, Conscious Consumer Network was launched to the world. Nobody thought we would make it this far, but CCN is the longest running free and independent media network of its kind. CCN is a unique collaboration of hearts and souls, bringing you information from different perspectives to educate and inform. Since we started CCN, we have had only one desire, the pursuit of a free, fair, just, sustainable world, and this has not changed. Having overcome many challenges over the last 2 years, CCN is here to stay, and we've got great things lined up for 2017. Help keep CCN on the air by supporting the 2017 Network Support Fund.